Moving on to my next order of business while we're waiting for Jason. So something funny happened as I was perusing the Twitter feeds of James Lindsay watching his epic hoax meltdown. And I'm not going to go into James today, but what I do want to point out is this. I just think this is so effing hilarious. As people know, Logan Lancing wrote a book with James Lindsay called The Queering of the American Child, and this is actually one of the things that kicked off the war against James Lindsay in earnest, because nowhere in this book do they mention capitalism. They wrote an entire book about queer theory, didn't mention that the goal of queer theory is to abolish capitalism once, which means, of course, Logan Lancing has no fucking clue what he's talking about. Now, the reason that Logan Lancing blocked me on Twitter is because I was literally replying to him with videos of actual queer Marxists saying the things that Logan didn't want to hear because it contradicts every single thing in his book. And then he called me crazy. You psycho, you're putting video clips of socialists in my feed? How dare you? And I want to point this out because Logan posted a picture of his book yesterday and he said, I wrote this book and received 1/100th the backlash I am now receiving from the woke right for saying individualism, free speech, and property are great, and Marx was wrong. Well, wild. There's a reason that the left did not backlash against Logan Lancing's book, and the right are backlashing against him and James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin and Colin Wright and Seth Dillon and anyone that's pushing this woke right bullshit, which we now all know is a complete and total hoax. There's a reason that Logan is receiving zero backlash from the left and all the backlash from the right. And it's actually very, very simple. And I explained it on Twitter today, but I just want to point this out. The reason that Logan Lancing is not receiving any backlash from the left for his book is because it is so removed from what the actual far left is saying and doing. It was so off the mark that the left doesn't even bother with stuff like this. In fact, when people like Logan Lancing and James Lindsay write books that are completely unhinged from what the left is doing in reality, they're not only not harming the left, they're actually helping the left. Because what they're doing is they're distracting the they're distracting the conservative right over here to say, here's your problem, conservatives, here's your problem. When in fact, the left is over here doing something completely different. But the conservatives are looking over here saying, groomer, 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 groomer. The left is over here doing something completely different, but the conservative right is so distracted by them because people like Logan Lancing and James Lindsay lie to them that all they're focusing on is over here while the left is doing whatever they want to do over here. That means books like Queering the American Child not only don't hurt the left, they actually help the left because they keep the right in a constant state of confusion and misinformation and distraction so the left can get away with whatever the flip they want. So why would the left backlash against Logan Lancing? He did them a service. He did them a favor. The reason that they're getting so much backlash from the right is the audience they're lying to. People don't like to be lied to, as it turns out. As it turns out, people don't like hoaxes perpetrated by classical liberals who think they're smarter than everyone else, who don't even take the time to understand the arguments of the people they're labeling as woke and trying to drag, when they're the ones perpetrating the hoax. When James Lindsay said, oh, I got a conservative nationalist paper to publish the Communist Manifesto, bro. But it turns out he rewrote 86% of it. So did they really publish the Communist Manifesto? No, they didn't. They republished a fiction that James Lindsay wrote and then pretended was the Communist Manifesto. So it's actually the conservative right that Logan Lancing and James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin and Colin Wright and Seth Dillon and all the other classical liberal assholes, it's the conservative right that they're lying to. That's why they're getting backlash. They're not getting backlash from the left because they're not lying to the left. They're lying about the left. And they're lying about the left in a way that benefits the left because it's keeping the right constantly distracted from what is actually going on. That's why, Logan. That's why. That's why the left is not responding to your book. because your book helped them. It didn't hurt them in any way. This is just like basic 101 level stuff, guys. I don't even know why this is a problem.